I need your help.
All right.
I smoked last night.
Smoke what?
Weed. That thing you sell.
Hey, girl, I don't sell shit. You better get off my phone talking that mess.
How do you pass a drug test?
You smoke.
Yes.
Alfred, I am allowed to smoke.
But weed is for people who aren't going anywhere, though. It's like for loser.
Remember?
Listen, I'm calling you because I need your help.
Yeah, but I'm petty, right? I'm Tom Petty.
And now that it's over, I'll never be sober. I couldn't believe, and now I'm so high. And now I'm so high.
And what is happening, everybody? We are back. Welcome to another episode, Unfiltered Bachelor. I am your Unfiltered Bachelor, Blake Weather. Joined, as always, with my official co-host for these TV breakdown episodes for Atlanta and for Lil Dicky. In this case, Atlanta. It's your favorite, maybe not. It's your neighbor, or maybe not. It's your guy on the fly, or maybe not. It's Jeff. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, how's it going?
Chilling. How you?
Same shit, different color. How about you, man?
I'm doing good, bro. Just staying safe in quarantine. Know what I mean?
Really? So what you're saying is you're not running up to the Capitol with a bunch of other idiots with no mask on?
With no mask on? Yeah, no, for sure not doing that. For sure making sure I just, when I go out, I'm being normal and not doing that. In other news, welcome to
trying to survive that weird thing.
But whatever Darwinism means to you. In other news, we are breaking down episode 6 of Atlanta, entitled. Or why do I even say entitled? It's not even entitled. It's just called. It's called fucking Value. Value, my friends.
And you better value.
And
better value.
I really like this episode. Even
Good episode.
Even though we don't see a lot of Gambino in there, or Donald Glover, whatever, Earn, whoever the fuck you want to call him. Even though we don't see a lot of him, I really enjoy this episode.
Well, it's like if you follow us when we're doing our Dave ones, we tend to enjoy the episodes where you get to really flesh out some characters other than just the title character.
Right.
And this one is like that, and this one's meant to flesh out Van. And she's an awesome character, and I think they did a really great job. And unlike Dave, it's not like trying to like take the Dave episode with Gata. It's not trying to flesh out literally all of what happened with Gata, who Gata is, all that. No, it's just a day in the life of Van.
Right. And
just what she has to go through on a daily basis, And
I think the cool thing is it is around it's almost like, I don't want to say the Dave show copied this kind of format, but it seems very similar where around episode 5, 6, you start to do other characters, not just the main character. You know what I mean? Like around episode 5 is when we do...
I wonder if that's an FX or an FXX suggestion,
But I don't know any other... I don't follow a lot of any other show. Well, I guess I do. Like Sons of Anarchy, right? Like American Horror Story, but I don't think any of these are like that exactly.
No. The thing is, Dave and Atlanta are very similar styles of show.
Yeah.
So I wonder if maybe maybe the network was like, hey, it'd be really cool if you were able to do this, and we'll take it like this is kind of like the lull right before you get to like the cliffhanger for the season ending. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's
coincidence.
Coincidence, maybe not. I don't know. It's a really good formula.
Ask
though.
the network.
It's a really good formula though, and I do enjoy it. And I'm actually starting.
It definitely works.
This episode in the background, and I want to give out some quick trivia from the old IMDb's. The old IMDb's. They had this episode, I think, ranked at like a 7.8, which is interesting. But
7.9.
7.9, right, there you go.
Oh man, wait till we get into next episode.
Right, that's where there's a big difference in how each one's rated, or as far as like not like whatever, man, like how each one, like the fans see each one or the critics see each one. So three quick kind of tidbits. This is Donald Glover's directorial debut. This is the first episode Hiro Murai did not direct so far. And then also tidbit number 2, when Van picks up her phone, obviously when it goes off when she wakes up the next morning, it shows the date as September 25th. That's actually Donald Glover's birthday.
Yes.
And then I don't know why this one's in here. I feel like everybody should know this, but because I knew this, but I was not always a good kid. But Van and another teacher referring to escort a student to ISS. ISS stands for in school suspension. For this episode, like the last few, now that we kind of established in a little bit more of a, I don't even say form. I don't want to be at that formal, but we are doing kind of our three top takeaways before we even hop into anything in this episode.
I'd say it's more just our rhythm.
Yeah, that cadence, this new cadence. And so since I went first on those, hey, we got this one here. Jeff, throw me your 3 top things that stick out to you in this episode, man.
All right, so the 3 top things that stick out. And the first one, and I know this one's just so superficial and just such an odd one, but every time I watch this episode, it really throws me because for a second, I think Jane, Van's friend from the beginning, has a piercing in the side of her cheek. You know how you can get those ones?
Right.
And it's literally, she doesn't. She just has such a severe dimple. Her dimple dimples so much, it honestly looks like it's an empty piercing hole. And it just throws me every time because every time I watch this episode, I have to be like, whoa, she got a piercing? No, you thought this last time too. So that's one. And I know it's a silly one.
But her dimple got a dimple. That's what it is.
Yeah, right? She's got both dimples, but just on one side.
Right.
So they compound. 2, what I thought of is, my second takeaway was like, dude, Van, you got a drug test the next day. Because the thing is, like, I got a lot of friends who are in education. You don't just, like, forget when you're like, even if you don't know the exact date, it's coming up, like, this week or that week. So when she just completely spaces on that, it's like, come on, Van, you're smarter than that shit. And 3, and this was actually a big one, even though it was a really small part of the episode, Ern stepped up today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are my 3 main takeaways from it.
Interesting. What was it? Wait, what was number 2 again? Because it kind of blended in between the 2.
2 was just how stupid.
Oh, the drug
Van
test
is smoking the day before her fucking drug test, man.
Okay. Yes.
Like, even if you don't know that it's tomorrow, like, I know she was like, I know I got one coming up. She could have at least looked at her goddamn phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, she should have remembered. The character of Van is almost too responsible to, like, forget about something like that. Whatever, though.
Yeah, that's the big part of it,
That would be the biggest plot hole that I'd have with this, right? Like, this episode it's like, that's not what Van does. Like, and even
it kind of goes against her character, yeah.
Even when she calls Alfred, and Alfred's like, I thought weed was bad, when he's making fun of her.
Oh, dude.
It's like, I thought weed was for losers.
Funny this episode, man. Al had what I think is the funniest line of the episode, and it was a goddamn text message. So, yeah.
What was that? What do you mean?
At the end, when he's like, hey, how'd it go? And at the end, she texts her, he goes, how'd it go? And Van goes, fine, how much for an eighth? And he just texts back, I don't sell. Change my name in your phone. Girl, you sloppy ass.
That's right. Yeah. Fucking, and even when she's on the phone with them, she's like, I smoked weed, the stuff you saw. He's like, girl, you better get off my phone. You better get off my line with that shit. I don't know who you're talking to.
Oh God, dude.
Okay, I got some takeaways.
Look, I think you might have got more interaction from Al than Ern in this one.
Yes, you actually did. It was less. The story was not about Ern at all. Like, Ern was the, like the little kid, like when the little kid come home and he tells his parents, hey, I'm going to be in a play. And like, oh my God, no way. This is so great. Skylar, this is so great. What are you going to be? And he's tree number 1.
He's the tree.
Yeah, he's tree. Exactly. I like how your mind went exactly there. He's tree number 1,
it's
bro.
Always the tree. Dude, yours is worse than mine. I was like, he's the tree. You're like, no. He's one of the trees.
He's tree number 1. There's 6 trees. They need 6 trees. They need him just to stand there.
I wonder if... So here's what I wonder with it. Actually, no. Let's get year 3 first because I'm interrupting.
Yeah, so
let's get year 3.
Was the friend Van's friend, I forget her name, but was something with
Jane.
Jane. Yeah, okay. So
Jane.
was she A? It's either A or B. Was she referred to it in one point? You know, she was like, "Van, you look good. You look pretty enough to be an Instagram escort." Is she herself an Instagram escort or an escort of some sort? I didn't think about this until last night when I watched this for like the 100th time, and I was like, what the fuck did she do, right? And there's a lot of like verbal jousting, first of all, that goes on between Van and Jane when they first meet up, even in the restaurant. And there's another point I want to actually, I'll tie in my like third point with this because it's later on.
Yeah.
But my third point, and it has to do with when they first meet up. If you notice, when Van walks into this fancy, it's a fancy Asian place, fancy Thai place, I don't know for sure, but it's a fancy Asian place, per se, because they each order Asian dishes, and, you know, they kind of have the Asian dude who's working, and so there's, I mean, I won't be like, oh, I'm a racist and shit, but like, it seems like a fancy Asian place.
Hell, Van even thought it was a little weird that she didn't already have chopsticks on the table.
Right. Yeah. And then the girl makes fun of her for fuck that girl, man. That girl's so fucking pretentious. But anyways, Van was, if you
Jane
notice
sucks.
when you walk in, a lot of people are wearing very, the colors that they're wearing are very muted. They're like blacks and like dark blacks and whites and stuff. Even when the guys walk up, I just noticed this right now when the two guys that,
Oh yeah, Van looks very out of place with her vibrant blue.
Yes. If you've ever noticed, and like you know me, I'm all about the arts, I'm all about the colors. Van sticks out like a sore thumb the minute that she walks in this goddamn place. And it tells you Van's vibe even in the conversation. Like, if she's not already sticking out, when she gets there, she's sticking out in the conversation. It's so beautiful how this all ties in there. But my point is,
dude, I never would have thought of that theory before, but yeah, dude, I think she might be an escort.
Yes, because Van tells her, you know, she does tell, it's like Van's like, oh, is this the one friend like that's in the basketball team? She's like, oh no, it's another friend who plays with this other basketball team. And then I'm flying out to go meet this other, you know, and then I'm my friend, you know, he plays for the, you know, the Hawks, right? She was telling her, he plays for the Hawks when she was trying to like be like, he smokes weed all the time, never misses a test. And then she's like, we can't all be like you. We can't all have guys swipe right or left on our ass. And it's almost,
well,
I thought it was like a Tinder reference or Bumble reference because, you know, I dabble in the dark arts of the dating apps, but like, it's not, you don't say ass, like you don't frame it like that. And by my understanding, I do understand there are escort apps for people who want to order escorts. And I seriously think,
and those apps are.
I don't. I wish I knew. I don't know. I'm not that rich. But I seriously think that she is an escort of some kind. Right? She doesn't have a home. So she's always traveling. Like, it's weird.
But there were two quotes after you brought up maybe she's an escort. There were two quotes that stood out to me. One, when she's trying to tell Van, like, oh, you got to get your roots fixed up. You know, you go to this guy that I go to, he'll get it done and everything. And Van goes, yeah, and how much does he cost? And blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, he's expensive. And Van goes, and who's buying that?
Right. Who's buying? Yeah. Who bought that? Like, who's always buying that for you? This, that, and the other thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And then the next one is the next morning when Van's talking with Ern's like, oh, how was Jane? She's like, oh, you know, she's Jane. And Ern's like, oh, yeah. And she's like, yeah, she's off to New York. And then she's going to London. And Ern goes, oh, yeah? Who with?
Right. Even he knows.
And they share that look. And you know what? That's that funny thing, too, where so here's the thing. It could be she's just like a businesswoman who's in like ads, maybe, you know, something simple where she works with high clientele. Mm-hmm. Maybe she's an advertiser for like Nike or like an agent for Nike or something, you know? Mm-hmm. But she could also be this escort. And I think, dude, Gambino's the exact type to leave it ambiguous to make you wonder like that.
Yes.
That's like a real good catch, man.
Open-ended. Thank you so much, man. Like, I've kind of prided myself because I've seen this episode so many fucking times, much like you have, and it never fucking dawned on me. Like, because I was like, maybe she travels for work, maybe she's like a designer or whatever. But like, they just emphasize a point every fucking time that like she travels and like, you know, like she's always with some other guy. And none of them are her boyfriend. And they're just all quote unquote friends. You know what I mean? Like basketball players and shit.
So interesting.
Bro, it's really interesting.
I think you got that. I think you figured that out. So that was like 1 and 3, right?
Yeah,
what was your 2?
My number 2 is, check this out. What was the message? I know there's a message behind this. What was the message with the goddamn kid wearing white face who's black?
No fucking clue.
I don't know the message, but I was looking at it a little bit deeper. Bro, could a white kid doing blackface get away with it and being in school suspension? I don't think so. I think they would have expelled that motherfucker. They would have wiped it from his face. They would have expelled
first defense expelled.
Yeah, it would have made it a big fucking deal. It would have been all over the fucking news. Bro, I'm so surprised they didn't wipe the little kid, the black kid's face that had the white face on it. They just left it. They didn't touch his face. They just put him in in-school suspension, bro. Like, and maybe this is a message. Maybe this is a topic that it's supposed to bring up. Could a white kid get away with doing blackface in fucking school, bro? Could the opposite?
And he shouldn't.
No, and this shouldn't happen either, right? Like fucking this. I think these are the beautiful topics that this fucking show brings up, man. Like outside of here's the thing. Outside of the whole relationship shit that Ern and Van have, which is a large part of why I love this series and a large part of why,
oh my god, at
the series review, I want to break down the relationship over season 1 because it has a lot to do with Unfiltered Bachelor, and the life I talk about and shit like that. But a large part of this too is also while we're doing this, while we're on the fucking topic, is the dynamic and the underlining of social commentary. And this is a big fucking thing. Like maybe this is a conversation that it's supposed to drive. A black kid's doing whiteface. Could a white kid do blackface? The answer we all know.
Well, and remember one of the things that we saw on the IMDb, not on the series trivia, not the episode trivia, a big part of what Glover's trying to do here is show white people parts of black culture that they wouldn't otherwise see.
Right.
So I wonder if it has something to do with that. And I honestly just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. Like, I have a lot of questions about it. I don't know why they left him in school. I don't know why he wasn't expelled. I don't know why they didn't wipe the fucking makeup from his face. I don't like, and it's so, right? But it's so creepy too. That last shot where like he's in school suspension.
You know what the other thing I noticed was?
What's that?
Dude, oh yeah, that fucking creepy ass smile.
Yes.
The other thing I noticed was there were no white kids in his class. So I wonder if that's a part of it.
Well, yeah, I think that's. I was thinking about this too. More and more, I think about this. Atlanta has a huge, a black population, man, just off bat.
Oh God, yeah.
And I think I didn't hit me until this, and also I thought it hit me right then, and I don't know why it didn't hit me before. And we've talked about it on the jail episode, but like bro, there was nothing but black people in the jail. There was nothing but black people in the school classroom. I think it tells a lot of like the community of exactly what Donald Glover wants to highlight. It's the black community, right? But also it is the city that he lives in as well. It's not just like, oh my God, just black people. Like that's not normal. Yeah, it actually might be. There might be a classroom full of black kids. There might be a jail full of black people. I wonder if a part of that's
also supposed to show that there's different Atlantas.
Mm-hmm.
Like my friends that live in Atlanta don't live in this Atlanta.
Right.
I mean, like this Atlanta exists, and my friends, they're not living there.
Right.
Like it's just, I think it's a big part of it is like, even when you think you know a town, you don't necessarily. Just because you live in the same place, you don't live in the same place,
Right, and I
think that's a very big thing that they're trying to get across the entire series.
Mm-hmm. And I think an awesome thing too is it is to accentuate your point. It even highlighted by the principal, right? She's like, "Girl, we don't have the money to we're underfunded. Like these kids are. This is just these kids are. It's like nowhere. You know what I mean? Like this is
right.
It's like not a good environment." Like, and they know it. They're aware of like what the fuck the trenches that they're in, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, that's a very literal view on the state of education in America. If you're not in one of the better areas, if you're in an area that's focusing on, so like I grew up in a very affluent neighborhood in the suburbs of Chicago. So like houses cost a lot. Taxes cost a lot because the money went straight to the school,
Right.
Well, if you're in a place that it's not the best area, they're not charging the most in taxes, and then there's not as much money to go towards the school, and that's just a fact.
Right.
I also wonder, and you mentioned with the principal pointing out, like, we don't send that shit. A part that I wondered from that was, so when I was working in restaurants, when I was still in the actual restaurants, what would happen a lot was, say a cook or a server or a bartender or someone would say they'd fail a drug test.
Okay.
There was still a way out of it. There was still a way to keep from getting fired. Say that you're addicted. Because then the company has to offer to let you go to rehab instead of just being fired. And I wondered if that would have been an option for Van.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, everyone knows no one's addicted to pot. But if you say you are, and then you go through the rehab process, I wonder if she could have kept her job.
You're addicted to weed, man. Dude, weed is not a drug. Let me know when you suck some dick for coke,
Are you thinking of that scene in Half-Baked as well?
Boo this man!
Of all people. Oh,
But yeah, it's
Also, you're telling me that big ass out into the bathroom with her? She didn't have nail clippers or something to open up that fucking condom?
right. No, okay, so that's another thing too. She's so inexperienced with this whole thing. She has no idea, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the inexperience of Van, and it's very blatant. Like, this is not her. And maybe that's part of this episode. This is not her.
Absolutely, but I also love how it's pot. The funniest part to me is it's pot. Who gives a shit? It's weed. She's not high at school. Who gives a fuck, you know?
Maybe, and maybe that is another thing I didn't think about until you just brought it up. It's and that's a point of this episode. It's just fucking weed. Everything is just right? It's just fucking weed, bro. Even, and it's one of the most beautiful scenes I love in here, and it's because it's just funny, and it's very. You might miss it if you're watching it for the first or second time, but when she calls Alfred Paperboy, when she calls him to try and get out of trouble, at the same time he's smoking weed, and he's telling her how to get off a weed charge. And there's a line in here. I'm not going to give it away right now. It's going to pay off in season 2. There's a friend of his he mentioned, so I'm not going to give it away right now. But he pays off in season 2. I guarantee it. But while he's talking to her about how to get out of this weed charge, and while she's concerned about the weed she smoked, he is literally wrapping up weed for somebody. He's putting it in a little plastic bag. I've seen this happen before. When you run out of plastic baggies, what you'll do, or what I've seen people who sell weed do, and friends of mine, and yada yada, what you'll do is you'll get an empty bag, and you'll put you'll hold it, you'll pinch it off as much as you put in there, you'll twist it, and then you'll light it on fire. You'll light the edge on fire, the bag burns off, and it's closed. The bag's closed, and you have what you're going to sell or give to somebody. He's doing that while he's having a conversation with Van.
Oh yeah,
it's all weed. It is all weed, and I really love that. 100%. I really love what she said.
So the thing that I love about that scene is something different, but also just so real to me, is when she calls, and he's just lying there, and he's smoking, and he's he's wrapping in the bag and everything. He does it, like, his phone starts ringing, and just without looking, he just reaches behind him to grab the phone. And I love that because that's absolutely how... At least not, like, if I was still working, it'd be different. But nowadays, when someone's like calling or whatever, I'm just like throwing my hand around. I'm not like getting up to look for my phone at all. But that's exactly how it is, you know? It's such a small part of the episode, but it's 100% how like a lazy Saturday is.
And even
no, you're not getting up to look for the phone. You will reach around for 20 minutes to find it.
Facts on facts, dude. You don't give a fuck. You're just like, you don't even look at it. You're just like, whatever. Who's it? But here's the thing. If you notice in this scene, and it's a split second miss. When he calls, though, there is a name saved, and it's a very short name, and I can only assume it's Van. But you don't see the huge number display on the screen. It's a very small name.
Right.
So he already has her number saved. And because it's so funny when he answers, he's like, hello. He answers in a voice.
I think it was more like, hello? Because it's a question, too. He's so confused. Why the fuck is Van calling me?
Why the fuck is Van calling?
Well, and that's the other part. She goes, hey, it's Van. He goes, yeah, Ern ain't here. That's the first thing he says.
Right. And she's like,
Like,
I
he
know.
just assumes the only reason she could be calling him is she's looking for Ern.
And Loki.
How about that, by the way, on that call?
Uh-huh.
When Van goes, listen, you need to help me because both you and me know you're not paying Ern anytime soon.
Right.
So, like, that was that's something like as part of the onlooker, as the viewer, you're thinking the entire time. But that's the first time anyone on the show said anything about it. And clearly Ern isn't privy to that information either, you know?
No. And I love how she calls it out. Listen, you're not going to pay him. I'm the breadwinner, you know. And I love there's a line in here that is the same line that was used by the homeless guy who had the Luke Skywalker, you know, lightsaber. Luke Skywalker. They
Oh, that made me
shout outs to episode 3 to go refer back to that line. But there is a line that she uses in here when he tells them when they drive away from this homeless guy, and what he tells him is we got. What she tells Alfred in this scene is we're all we got. And I was just like, bro, there is no accident. There's no accident to the script. There is no accident to the scene. There is no accident to the verbiage that occurs in this show, dude. It's so just like
absolutely.
There's little throwaways like when we talk about Dave. Everybody go follow that if you're a Dickie fan. When we're gonna bring it up religiously, probably. But like, there's so many throwaway lines. There's so many throwaway lines like this.
Well, speaking of one of my favorite throwaway lines or collection of them is just when Ern's with Lottie, you know, when he comes in and Van's like, oh, she didn't sleep all last night. He goes, oh, okay, well, I'll take her. Like, did she eat yet? And Van's like, no. And Ern just goes, okay, just, you know, I'll feed her. And she's like, wait, really? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. You can get some more sleep or something. And I was like, that's so sweet of him. And I love just he and Lottie are playing on the couch, and she's just like, what's she doing? And he's just like, I don't know. And she's like, and she goes, what's she doing? I don't know. What's she doing? And I love his facial reaction where he goes, I don't know. And his face is the facial expression he makes just makes my first thought was just like, yeah, he's definitely dead. He's been through this before.
I love it too because it shows. I was going to say low key in this episode. It does show the as much as we think of Ern as maybe a deadbeat dad, the stereotype, whatever, as he's been referred to in the last few episodes. We start to see this whole dad side of him that's actually. He's really cute, and he does have these moments with his daughter, right? He's like, "We're gonna need backup." A lot of cuteness going on over here.
We've got a baby on the resonance.
Yeah, yeah, she's adorable. We're gonna need backup.
It was so great, man. Yeah. Which, by the way, how about then Van going through his phone looking at his fucking pictures?
I didn't.
How fucked up was that, man?
What? When was this?
So remember. He's sitting on the couch playing with Lottie, and Van's like, "Hey, can I get Al's number?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." He doesn't even second guess. He just, "Oh yeah," and he hands her his phone, and that's how she gets Al's number. But when it shows her, she's looking through his pictures, and it's a picture of him and Al. It's a picture of him. It's a picture of him and Al, and then it's a picture of a girl, just like taking a selfie. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? And I know it comes from her dinner with Jane, because Jane's like, oh, I've been seeing his Snapchat, and it looks like he's got all these girls and he's running around and da-da-da-da. And it's like, and Van's clearly getting upset. And it's like, Van, the show starts with you going on a date with someone else. Why are you mad that he's seeing other people too,
Yeah, she didn't want to be on that date. Like I want to.
Oh yeah, back in episode 1, you mean?
I do want to round this. Yeah. Right, back in episode 1, she did talk. You're right. Like that whole thing. But like, I do want to point out like the fact of on this episode, even when some guy tried to like flirt with her, she was not having it. You know what I mean? She was not.
Dude, but that guy was creepy as shit.
He was very...
He was so over the...
Yeah, he was very forceful.
Holy shit, dude.
What?
You know what I just realized?
What's that?
Your theory. If Jane's an escort, and Jane's friend brings a date for Van...
He thinks she's an escort.
Van's an escort.
Holy fuck! What?
Holy
fuck!
Oh, his behavior. his behavior, while not okay, makes way more sense now.
Makes way more. He thinks he's getting peepees wet. He thinks he's getting peepees wet.
Shit.
Bro, we just unlock a secret. Holy fuck! I never thought about that.
You just pulled the pin, you tossed a grenade, and you just. And now we're looking through the Rebel, man. We're finding things we didn't find before. Shit.
We're like miners who used to use dynamite.
Oh my god.
We're miners who used to use dynamite to go mining. It changes everything.
Yeah. Or since I'm white, super duper white, when hillbillies use dynamite to go fishing.
Yes. Oh man, but yeah, you're.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Big.
Absolutely right. It does make sense, but she's not even having it then. Like, I want to circle back while we're still on the subject of Van and Ern's relationship, and it's so funny that I think Jane is the voice of the audience at that point.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's my bad. It's not Jane. It's Jade. Jayde, not Annie. That's my bad.
Okay, Jade. Yeah, I knew it was a J. I totally forgot her name. But Jade, when she talks, she's the voice of the audience. I've always, like I told you in last episode, like what's his name was the voice of the audience in the last episode. Oh, Paperboy.
Mr. Nutella.
Not him yet. But yes, actually, yeah. In the first episode.
Oh, Sam?
No. In the last episode, Paperboy, when he played Justin Bieber. He was the voice of the audience.
Oh, yeah.
Because he hated Justin Bieber. He was doing everything the audience wanted. Dude, if you got the chance to play Justin Bieber and then knock him down and then, throw him around and shit, I think anybody, for 2016 Justin Bieber, I'm not saying now, but 2016 Justin Bieber, anybody would have loved the opportunity to go ahead and fucking do that. In this episode, I think Jade is the voice of the audience when it comes to talking about Van and Ern's relationship. She's like, y'all funny. Remember? She goes, y'all funny. You're everything that you made fun of. Right? You are everything you made fun of.
Yeah, you're the girls. She said something about, like, you're the girl that we used to make fun of all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it really is true, man. And like I said in the first maybe 2 episodes or so, I mean, I know people like this, or like, and back in the day, like I don't really am friends with anybody now, but I remember being back in the day when I was a bit younger and
yep, Blake, you heard it here. Blake is friends with nobody now.
Zero friends during the quarantine. But it is
that's not true.
No. He's like, well, I'm going to leave right now. This podcast has ended. But it is the dynamic of friends that I would see where they would, again, they didn't really have a place to stay. They didn't really have a car. They had a baby mom. They got somebody pregnant when they're kind of in their mid-20s or early 20s. And it was this whole dynamic of like, they were single, but they get mad if their baby mama went out with somebody, or their baby mama would still be hung up on them and still go out, but not really. Like, you know what I mean? They'd always go back to, the quote unquote baby daddy. And it is very much this case, where she's still sort of stuck on Ern, and she's not through with. She defends it. She defends it, like she, and it's just very real, man. Like I growing up with people like this, it's very real, and I don't know if I've seen it on TV in this way, and I very much respect it, but it's also very much at the same time you're like, God damn it, like, Van, you're too pretty to be doing this, you're too good to be doing this. And that's what her friend is telling her, and that is the point. That is the point of this episode. It's called value. We need Van to find her value in this episode.
Dude, 100%. And so the funny part about that is, if your theory is true, this is an escort, not to be a dick, a hooker, saying, oh, you have no value because you're just a mom. And you're trying to make things work with your baby daddy. And it's like, but if you're a hooker, you have the value. And I'm not trying to be a dick here. I'm not trying to be a dick because, I mean, sex work is real work, and honestly, I do think that, I mean, look at, I think there's plenty of countries that have shown that, hey, you can make this a legitimate legal thing. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with it. And honestly, it actually tends to help society. But I mean, the fact that she's she's judging Van is such a big thing. And what it really made me realize was a lot of the people in situations and things like that when I was a kid, I was like, oh man, how could someone let themselves get into that situation? Or how could someone do this? Or how could someone do that? Blah, 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 blah. Now that I'm older, I look back and I'm like, man, you were so stupid to think everything was so black and white, man. Like,
right.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a huge part of this episode for me. But, dude, all right, I got to read this exact quote to you because it just played on my screen and I had to back it up. If this doesn't back your theory, I don't know what does. You ready?
Yeah.
So, Jade's like, oh, you got to figure out what your value is, blah, blah, blah. And Jade says, hey, look, women need to be valuable. Black women need to have to be valuable. And she says, come on, the NBA players I fuck with me because I provide them a service.
Yes.
And I'm worth it.
Dude, I'm telling you, she's a fucking escort.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely right. Holy shit, how did I never notice that before?
Bro.
Dude.
I just for the first time.
It's like when someone pulls a really awesome card trick and then just shows you like, oh yeah, no, I just had this in my other hand the entire time. And you're like, how'd you not see that? It's like,
what? It was behind my ear the whole time?
Dude.
Yes, man. Yes,
dude. Yeah,
there were so many points.
Yeah,
she escort. She escort. I also just saw the scene with.
Nothing wrong with that if that's what she enjoys and that makes her happy. Yeah,
I also just saw the scene where Van goes through the phone, and I'm so surprised. I never fucking noticed it, and she does get a little fucking pissed off. She gets a little pissed off.
Before rewatching it today, I never noticed it either.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
You know what the funny thing is?
Mm-hmm.
So that girl that's on his phone, everything. I mean, I don't want to be this guy. Like, oh well, you never know. Like, maybe give him the benefit of the doubt. But like, he is Paperboy's manager.
Right.
That could be a girl trying to get with Paperboy, and Paperboy's not going to be giving out everyone his number. He'll have Earn take care of that.
Right.
So that could 100% be a girl like sends Earn a picture and it's like, hey, tell Paperboy to call me, blah blah blah.
Yes, it absolutely could be that. We do not know.
Yeah.
But yeah, to kind of I think to put all this in a nice pretty bow, value is the overarching theme of I think everybody, not just Van. I think Van finds what is value to her. I think you see Earn's value with his child. I think you see Van. I think she even the relationship she has with Paperboy becomes a little bit more valuable, especially when she loses her job, right? Even his communication, like when she's like, you can help me, I know this. All of a sudden, Paperboy's value to her goes up as somebody she doesn't like. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of little...
Very true.
A lot of points of like...
I think another big part of it...
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think another big part of it is the idea that you determine your value, because when you get the beginning of the episode where Jade's just, let's face it, Jade's being a bitch to Van. She's not necessarily being a bitch in general, but the way she's talking to Van, to her old friend, it's not cool. She's clearly being judgmental and everything, and it's fucked up. And then the second half of the episode is Van dealing with herself, how she's seeing herself, especially after she smoked the pot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a big part of it is just your value comes from within. You shouldn't be letting these outside factors determine your value,
Mm-hmm. This is facts.
And I think that if Van hadn't let Jade get under her skin, I don't think she would have smoked. If she hadn't smoked, she wouldn't have been in that situation where she was clearly upset with herself because she had the drug test and she fucked up. And, I think it was just a lot of that. And I mean, and if you look at Earn isn't in the best spot in his life, if we're being honest with ourselves. But him with Lottie, just that quick, less than 2-minute scene. Look at the value. Mm-hmm. Look at that. And it's coming from him and his relationship with his daughter. It's not coming from how Van or Jade sees him. I think an undertone of this episode is you need to value yourself. You don't need to worry about if other people, If you don't value, especially because if you don't value yourself, how are others supposed to?
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's a great walk away of morality in this episode. Yeah. And yeah, man, I really enjoyed this episode because it is the first episode that doesn't have as much Earn in it. He's really only in it for like 2 minutes, and we get to see the.
You know who's not in it at all?
Oh, Darius. Your boy.
Yeah, I just realized that. Our favorite guy's not even in it.
Your boy. But yeah, man, there's a lot of, and even the value of having, what is the value of a black kid wearing whiteface as opposed to a white kid wearing blackface, right? There's different value placed on that. I think maybe that's.
What's the value of her job?
Mm-hmm. The value of smoking weed, like what's, like all these things, it makes you quite, I'm really glad we talked this out, man.
If she hadn't gotten into her own head about it, and just did the piss test anyway, I was like, whatever, I'll just deal with the consequences when they come. There wouldn't have been any. So what's the value of that,
Right. The value of trying to cheat the system. Dang. Whoa, bro.
What? All right. I'm going to write him a letter because if Donald is going to make me keep thinking like this, I don't know how much I like it, okay? It's too much.
Oh, man. Another one for the books, though. I really think I like this. I love this. I love this episode. And I love, just kind of everywhere that this went and all the, again, the small pieces that we've kind of put together just by talking it out. We're having a therapy session over at Atlanta, and I love this.
It's crazy how more we realize when we just talk about it to each other, and we've both watched it so many times, but it's the bouncing it back and forth that, that's why you don't have just like a writer, you have like a writer's room,
Yes. Facts on top of fucking facts. In this case, my other writer, aka my co-host Jeff, where can people find you if they want to reach out to you and say hi?
You can Skype me at Don Cheadle's driveway at littledickie2.com, which I'm just never going to fucking change because it's too funny. Or you can see me in public and stand 6 feet away from me while wearing a mask.
I like that. I think that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Dude, I went on a walk today. Austin, if you live in Austin, you have to wear masks now. I don't get, even just a fucking bandana. You got to have something covering your schnoz and your mouth. Don't go out without something covering those two holes.
Not if you're running, not if you're exercising.
No, I think you still do. Because, dude, I go on my walk and I still have a bandana on.
I mean, I think that's more safe. But what I've been seeing, what I've been reading, not if you're exercising, because why would you wear a fucking mask? It's hard to breathe, anyways. You know what I mean?
Well, the entire point is, it's not so much that you don't breathe something in. It's so that say you've got something going on, you're not putting it out into the world as easily.
Right? No, I get the logic behind it, but I don't think, as far as I read,
I'll tell you what.
We need to.
So the funny thing is, doing it with the bandana on gives me a better workout.
Yes, yeah,
because it's making me breathe harder. I'm sweating more. I'm getting more out of it. I'll tell you that.
That's why athletes wear those breathing masks pre-Rona, right? Those you know what I'm talking about? Those little breathing respirator masks. You can buy those.
Man, I've seen them, and I've always just been like, wow, that's weird. They must be running through war-torn Bosnia or something. inside of a Gold's Gym. Bosnia. That was a war when I was a kid.
I remember that. Was that 91, 92? I remember that. But yeah, man.
I think so.
Shout outs to everybody.
Where can people find you?
Yeah, I was going to say shout outs to everybody who tuned in for this Atlanta Breakdown episode 6.
Guys, we really appreciate that. This is fun.
We love you.
So thanks for giving us an audience to talk to.
Mm-hmm. And even if you just downloaded this and never listened to it and you listened to 2 seconds, we thank you for that too. Shout outs to all of you. 2 seconds
with me talking.
Huh? What'd you say?
Better been 2 seconds with my fucking voice.
I hope not. Dear baby Jesus, I hope not. Follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can follow it also on your favorite podcast platform, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. Tell your friends to tell a friend to write a review, leave a comment, share it. Whatever you want to do to help support the show for free. You ain't doing shit during the Rona. You're just staying home. You might as well tell your friends to watch Atlanta and follow the show as we do this weekly. You can follow me, Money Blake Weather, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Snapchat, Money Blake Weather. And hey, what?
Hey, if you guys listening or watching or whatever If you think of or notice something that we don't, fucking reach out. Let us know. We'd love to hear it.
Yes, reach out, write us on any one of the social media platforms, or feel free to email unfilteredbachelor@gmail.com. That's where the fuck we are. If you want to reach out to me and Jeff, as in tandem, as a duo, right?
Just watch. Someone's gonna Skype me while we're doing one of the episodes.
We're not going to tell you when we record it, so you won't know, people. But thank y'all for tuning in. Whether it's morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time you're listening to this, I do appreciate you. Stay safe. And until the next time, we will see you. Peace.
Girl, what's your problem? 'Cause I know it's hard sometimes. Baby, just give me some time. Ooh, on and out, girl. We can solve them. If you just give me some time, I can open up your mind.